Hello and welcome to The Toss. I'm your host, Shiv Dowder, and I'm going to be talking about all things sport, mainly cricket, a little bit of football here and there occasionally, and let's have fun. I want to start off talking about the IPL. Of course, starts on Saturday, big excitement, one of the biggest things in cricket at the moment, and every year is one of the greatest things. Massive tournament, big moments, and everyone just has so much fun watching it. It's so enjoyable every single year. And who's going to win this year? I don't know. Will it be Chennai again? Mumbai again? Will RCB do it 2 years in a row after their drought of 18 years? That's very possible. Virat Kohli could help them get there. But who knows? It could be a big year for my team, Gujarat Titans. I know I'm in the RCB shirt today, but I guess that's the fun of the IPL. Every year it's so different. Every year brings big excitement and joy to everyone. And it's just a big month or two that us cricket fans enjoy. Lots of runs, big moments, lots of wickets, and every match is just enjoyable. So hopefully this year it brings big things. Seeing a big build up already. Sunrisers Hyderabad in their practice match, their A team against their B team. Their A team scoring 253 runs. Abhishek Sharma 94 off 42 deliveries. Explosive as always. He's just so entertaining to watch. I mean, of course, he didn't have the greatest World Cup, but that 50 in the final, great help, I guess. And he's always just so explosive. Two dot balls and he looks for a boundary straight away. I know a lot of criticism was seen all over social media after his World Cup campaign, which is expected. He was number one batsman in the world at the time and didn't really get off to a flyer. A lot of a lot of ducks and missing innings, I guess, where he just didn't show up and Sanju and Ishan were there to rescue him. Um, but I mean, he's just so fun to watch in an IPL where it looks like there's going to be a lot of flat tracks. He's definitely going to be a key to Sunrisers. And following up that 253 the A team scored, the B team only went to score 282 with Ishan scoring 72 from 25 deliveries. I mean, the striking is just absolutely ridiculous from Sunrisers, and it seems like their tactic going into this IPL is just going to be we can outscore anyone. Every innings, they look like they're chasing that big 300 score. Will it come this year? Who knows? But it, they just they just keep powering through, and I guess they're going to be one of the most entertaining teams to watch this year. But one thing I wanted to talk about quickly is this IPL. I mean, I just hope we don't get every wicket being a flat track and a batting haven because I mean, that's how it's been the last 3 years, and it's taken a little bit of the enjoyment out of it. Don't get me wrong, I still love the tournament, fans love it, and people still show up to the matches. It's not like it's a huge issue, but part of the enjoyment before was every pitch had personality. I mean, Chepak was a spinner's absolute dream. I mean, I guess it's lower scoring, yes, but runs aren't everything in this game. Bowlers do have a part to play too. And I mean, we saw last year complaints from KKR and SSG saying that the grounds have lost it a bit, and it's just all batting and batting, and there's not really a home advantage anymore. Um, and yes, that is definitely the case. I mean, since 2022, we've seen every season have an increase in boundaries, increasing from 1,064 in 2022, and last year, 1,294, which is just ridiculous. I mean, more than 200 extra boundaries being scored in the tournament. It's just, yes, we are seeing more explosive batting and bigger hitters now, but the pitches definitely do have a part to play in that. And I'd love to see pitchers get their personality back again and teams get their home advantage back. Um, yes, the BCCI did dismiss all these concerns despite LSG and KKR complaining, as I mentioned before, and even MS Dhoni himself blaming the Chepauk track, despite winning the game against LSG before he complained. And I mean, that says a lot. I know they didn't have a great season last year, CSK, but I mean, when someone as great as Dhoni is having complaints about pitches, it does put a big emphasis on the fact that these pitches aren't as good as they used to be before. So I just hope that this year that isn't going to be the same thing. Despite it does look like we may have that same issue we saw in Kolkata. I know it was at the end of the T20 World Cup, but that India England game was just loads of runs in there, and I don't know how much the pitch can change between now and then. Um, I guess we're just going to be hoping that we do see improvements, and hopefully these comments do get received by the BCCI. Obviously, not by myself, but they do start listening to the teams and the coaches eventually, that they want their home grounds back, and that seems to be the key message. It's not home track anymore, which can be very disappointing. Um, I mean, in other big news, RCB and Rajasthan Royals have both been sold recently. RCB for 1.78 billion and Rajasthan for 1.63 billion, which is huge news in the IPL world. I don't know how much of an effect it's going to have this year. Probably not too much. It's the season starts on Saturday. This has just happened at the start of this week. I don't see the owners being able to change too much. It may have more pressure on the coaching staff. So that may be one thing to look out for. But I think the biggest thing for these two teams is that they're going to have much bigger budgets for the auction next year, and it will definitely help them get a good team together for next year's season. So probably not going to be anything different this year, but I guess it's something that we will see in the future. Um, because in the long term they'll definitely have a lot more money to play with. But yeah, overall, very much looking forward to this season's IPL. As I said, praying for that Gujarat win. It's been a long time as they winning in our first season, but I don't know. I don't have the best feeling about Shubman's captaincy. Last year, it was just the three top batsmen, Gill, Butler, and Sai Sudarshan, performing very well. But when they got out early, it didn't look great. And I know they did very well in the league stage, but I mean, we'll have to see, right? I don't know how if that trend can continue. It doesn't seem to be the most sustainable strategy. And for talking for RCB, it seems like it's going to be a big year because Gawley's just won his first IPL last year, and they are definitely going to want to go big this year. Next, I want to talk about something which is a huge deal in the cricket world this week. We've just heard from the ECB that Rob Key, Brendan McCullum, and Stokes will all be keeping their jobs. I mean, I'm definitely very surprised by this. We've seen in the past that England don't always tend to go that way. Well, not even always. Most of the time, they don't go that way, and they end up sacking everyone after a poor series in Australia. And I mean, I do think it's a good thing that they've gone about it a different way this year. I mean, it hasn't brought them the most amount of success in the past, switching things up, changing strategy, players having to adapt again. And I mean, with things changing so often, I'm not surprised that it hasn't worked very often. So, I mean, yes, it was a very disappointing series, but maybe they've done the right thing this time. We did see Rob Key do an interview with Sky earlier this week, and I do think sometimes he talks a bit like a politician, playing everything down, giving the right answer all the time. But yeah, it does make it hard to take things out of that interview because he is just trying to give that perfect answer every time, and whether the same things are happening behind closed doors, I really don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I'm not there, but I guess we will see in the future, right? We have their next series being against New Zealand, which is massive for them. We do really want to see some change because, I mean, it's going to be a big thing if they do start failing again. I mean, I'm not surprised Brendan McCullum has kept his job. I think it would have been very harsh for them to sack him. I mean, people do look at his test record individually as tests and say it's not the greatest, but if you do look at it overall, he's had 11 series, 7 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses. The losses being against India away and Australia away. And that's not a bad record at all. I know he's drawn against in the Ashes series at home, which I know everyone does want a result from the Ashes, but it wasn't. He didn't have too much time before then to prepare the team. Um, he did beat New Zealand straight away in his first series 3-0. And I guess the biggest thing at the moment is can he get the results in the series against India and Australia? Because that is the thing that the ECB wants the most. Overall, in the World Test Championship, England haven't been doing the greatest. They don't. They're not near the top in the table at all. Haven't reached the final yet, which is for a very big cricketing nation, I would say a disappointment. They should be getting at least close to that top three, and should be getting in a final every now and then. But we haven't even seen them get close, which is very disappointing, I would say. And I mean, they do need to be getting up there pretty soon if Baz wants to keep his job much longer, because I don't see him being given another chance. It is a lot about positive cricket. I know everyone says Bazball is just hitting everything, which, to be honest, it does very much seem that way. I know they say to the media it's not just hitting every ball for six, and we don't see the batsmen playing smart cricket. We do see them playing a lot of dumb cricket, as Rob Key did say after the Ashes. Playing the ball on the up in that series, for example, was just dumb cricket, and that definitely needs to change. It's a weird one because no one knows exactly what his message is. Yes, it is positive cricket, but is it that he actually wants them to go for that 100 strike rate in Test match format, which is not? It's just not sustainable. You do need batsmen in there to be striking at 30, 40, keeping the innings alive. I mean, Root seems to be the only one batting well consistently. Um, I mean, Brook did do it for a bit where he got to top off the Test rankings, but he does seem hit and miss. He didn't show up at all in that Ashes. I mean, Root didn't have the greatest series either, but he did get some scores on the board. Brook had nothing. And Stokes is always absolutely key to that team. And I think the captaincy does weigh on his shoulders. Um, but is it all Brendan McCullum's fault? I mean, there there isn't an experienced bowler in the side. If they think, I mean, Mark Wood is experienced, but he's injured all the time. And yes, I'm going to get onto the way they're managing their players later, but you can't rely on just him. And their next most experienced bowler is Jofra Archer, who has been out of the Test side for a very, very long time, came back in that series against India, so only had, I think it was 3 tests in that series to prepare for the Ashes, which is not a long time at all, with the amount of time that he was away from Test cricket, and then being relied on as the most experienced bowler in that side. And even then, I don't think he doesn't have the experience that people think he has, because we saw in that series him arguing with Stokes quite a lot, where he wanted a fielder in a different area than what Stokes had set up, and Stokes would say, no, bowl to my field. And when he did bowl to Stokes' field, yes, the wicket came, but he does seem to be a bit erratic. When one ball goes for 4, he blames it on the field set, and that really shouldn't be the mindset as a bowler. You should be aware of where your fielders are. Your captain ultimately has the decision on the field. Yes, you can ask him for changes every now and then, but it is the captain's decision ultimately, and you have to be bowling to that field every over, every delivery. And if you can't do that, well, maybe Test cricket isn't for you. And I'm not saying Archer should be out the Test side. No, that's not the case. He is an excellent bowler, but I think he can't be relied on as the most experienced bowler when he doesn't behave like an experienced bowler. Frankly, Bryden Cast, I mean, he does pick up a wicket every now and then, yes, but he can be expensive, and he just seems to be sometimes the bowler that Stokes goes, you're going to bowl a short ball. And I don't know. That experience is definitely lacking. Josh Tongue looks like to be maybe the best bowler, but he's sometimes not even in the side, which is very odd. Gus Atkinson, people are saying that he should be cemented in that side, but again, I don't know. I think they really do need some time to get some experience in their bowlers. And I do think sometimes they do go to that short ball ploy very quickly, which I know a lot of people have been saying in the media, and it's a message that you've probably heard many, many times by now. But you can't just have one main tactic that you think is sometimes going to get a wicket when only one thing hasn't worked. I think there does need to be a few different areas, and I know the coaching staff will probably say, oh, we do have many different tactics. That's not the case, but I don't think the fans have seen that, to be honest. And that short ball ploy cannot just be the scapegoat every single time, because what if a team just decides to duck every short ball? It's very possible, and then nothing's coming from it. Yes, a little bit economical for the short balls that you're allowed for the over, but eventually it could not get you a wicket, and then you're just exhausting your bowlers by going for the short ball, and then they're going to leak runs eventually because they can't put that effort in, especially if they're in the field for a very, very long time. And we know it takes a lot of energy out the bowlers in that heat, bowling many overs in the day. I think we do need to see some sort of change in the way that they their approach their bowling in these test matches. It can't just be we're gonna bowl for a bit and then go for a short ball, and then try bowl for a bit and then go for a short ball. That's not gonna cut it at the top level of cricket. I'm sorry, Stokes and Baz, it's not gonna cut it. I think you do need to start thinking about something else. And that's what the fans want to see. They want to see some sort of improvement after all this. But that's ultimately what it is. I mean, Stokes has come out and said, "I love being England captain and have so much more to give, and we just want you to prove that." I'm personally not an England cricket fan, but England cricket fans will ultimately want you to prove that. Because yes, if you are keeping your job in this, after all this disappointment that English cricket fans have faced, then there has to be some sort of change. It can't just be we're going to hit every ball for 6, go for 100 strike rate every batsman, play with no cricketing sense, and constantly goes to that short ball ploy, because those four statements sum up Bazball for me so far. Um, and yes, it's harsh, but that's frankly how it is. And since we've seen them keep their jobs, we've also seen Bairstow come out with quite a few statements yesterday, which is surprising. I didn't expect to see this at all. Where this goes back to the statement I mentioned earlier that it doesn't seem like England are looking after their players. He did talk about Mark Wood, especially saying that they just expect him to come in with no tests under his belt sometimes after an injury, bowl at 95 miles an hour, pick up some wickets, and then he gets injured again, which it's not good enough. You need to be looking after your players a lot better than that. It can't just be, oh, they're in the side, and that's when they're in the side, and then they're out the side, and then they're nowhere to be seen again. Or when they're injured, they're expected to come straight back. You have to manage them a lot better. And is it because they don't have the right players in the system? I know there's been a lot of talk around county cricket not being used how it should be, where, I mean, the county system should be a lot better, where they just, if you're performing in county cricket, you should be, you should have a direct step up into Test cricket, international cricket, um, and it should flow quite nicely. I do understand Rob Key's comments where he said it shouldn't be just the top five scoring batsmen from county cricket make it straight into the Test side, and the top five wicket takers. No, I fully agree with that. That can't be the case. You do have to think slightly about how do they fit in the side, how do they fit in the dressing room. Are they going to get the runs against the quality of the bowlers that they're facing, and are they going to play the style of cricket that Brendan ultimately wants them to play, Stokes wants them to play? And yes, of course, not 100 strike rate, as I mentioned before. I don't think that should be the way forward. But I do agree with those comments to some extent. But county cricket is very important. And if players feel that county cricket isn't going to get them into international cricket, then there is just big mistakes there. Players are not going to want to play any county cricket, which is a huge mistake. Players are going to constantly want to go off instead of playing county cricket and just want to play the SA20, the PSL, the IPL, the Caribbean League, etc. And that's not a way to get into international cricket, especially Test cricket. So yes, there does need to be some sort of direct route up, not just looking at as well at the young players. It needs to be there, even for someone who's a bit older. But if they're scoring the runs, that they should have a route into that team. It happens sometimes. I mean, Surya Kumar Yadav, for example, I know this is a very, not a Test cricketing example, but he came into that India side very late, and now he's won them the won them the T20 World Cup and had many great knocks for India throughout his T20 career. Um, so there definitely should be a way for players to make it straight into the system. I don't think India either use their domestic system to as well as they could be. I know they look at the IPL way more than they should, and it has a lot more weighting than the Ranji Trophy, etc., which I can talk about another time. But county cricket is very important, and the players in the system are going to want to know how they can develop from county cricket to international cricket, because ultimately that is their goal at the end of the day. Um, yeah, and lastly, I want to talk about Liam Livingston, which we have seen some comments from him in the past few days where he has gone off on one completely, talking about how he didn't enjoy it in part as part of the England squad that played in the Champions Trophy. Uh, there's a lot of negative aura around the camp. He was out of form. he was hitting in the nets, faced 3 balls out the middle, and then was told, "That's your 3 balls you've hit out the middle of the bat. Let's leave the training session now." That's just unacceptable. Players we all know they have their own way of training. If they want to turn up to the optional training sessions or not, that's totally different. Um, but some players love to face hundreds of balls in the nets. Virat Kohli, for one, being one person famously to say that he just likes to face ball after ball after ball, and that's how he gets into form. And other players don't do that, and you you should be catering towards that. We don't know how accurate these comments from Liam Livingston are. Is it just frustration for being left out of that T20 World Cup squad? It very possibly could be. Uh, Look, no one knows, but I guess this is something as well that if these statements are true, there does need to be change in the England camp, because on the one hand you're saying positive cricket, on the other hand you're not allowing players to positively train, which that's a big mistake if these allegations are true. I mean, who knows, right? Only Liam Livingston himself and the coaching staff will know exactly what's going on. But this is something that, if it is true, it's a huge issue. Next, we've just seen a big series between New Zealand and South Africa come to a close. A massive series win for South Africa, winning away from home 3-2. Very exciting series. I mean, it's definitely disappointing for New Zealand losing at home to South Africa, despite after a very disappointing World Cup final loss against India, where they didn't show up. I think they would have liked to win this series. The fans definitely would have liked to win this series. I know it isn't exactly the same players that played across the World Cup and in this series, but the fans definitely would have liked to see a win after that. It would have slightly softened the blow. I know it's hard to get over a World Cup final loss, and a series straight after isn't going to do that. But a win at home would have been nice. This definitely makes it a bit tougher. Um, Again, not the same players that played across the two, but definitely one that the fans would have liked to enjoy. For South Africa, though, massive win. Played exceptional throughout the series. Joe Kurtzy being the pick of the bowlers, 8 wickets in the 5 matches. Bowled very well, average of 14. Nothing concerning there. And he will definitely play a big part in South African cricket going forward. He's already in and around the setup, and he is a great bowler. But the person I wanted to talk about in this segment, especially, is Connor Estupiñán, who was the best batsman in the series by far. 200 runs across the 5 matches, finishing off the series with 75 of 33. Incredible knock there. I mean, wow, just incredible. His debut series, 24 years old, is going to have a big part to play in South African cricket if he continues on this trajectory, for sure. I mean, yes, it's his first series. We don't know if he's going to continue playing this well, but if he does, South Africa have got a good batsman on their hands here. We don't know how long Quinton de Kock has left in South African cricket. I mean, he did come out of retirement for this T20 World Cup, but Connor could be a big player to replace Quinton eventually, because if he continues with these numbers, I don't see why he wouldn't be in the setup, to be honest. I mean, South Africa in general in that series, brilliant. Started off bowling New Zealand out for 91. It did take them 17 overs to chase it, but it was definitely a bowling pitch, and overall the performances were quite consistent from them. And yes, they did go to the final match, but away from home, winning a series against a side that isn't easy to beat, like New Zealand, I mean, there's not really much negative to come out of that, I guess. Um, so yeah, let's see what is in store for South African cricket going forward. New Zealand, I mean, what's going to be big for them now is their Test series away from home against England. That will be pretty huge, I think. They do need a result there, in my opinion. So do England with Brendan McCullum staying, Stokes staying. Uh, I think for both teams, they're definitely going to like to get a result, and that is going to be an incredible series when it comes. Uh, and I can't personally can't wait for that one. Love a bit of Test cricket, and I mean we'll see what happens then, I guess. Um, but New Zealand definitely would love a win in that series. To finish off my first episode, I wanted to start talking about the European Cricket Nations Cup, which has been. It sounds like it's in the works for 2027. I mean, nothing has been yet confirmed, but this could be massive for cricket going forward. I mean, it looks like the likes of England, Scotland, Netherlands, Ireland, and possibly Italy, following their World Cup campaign, will be involved in this tournament. Um, I mean, for the smaller nations, definitely massive. I don't know who's going to be involved if they do bring in other nations as well. Um, but this is definitely something which is great for cricket in general. These teams are going to get more experience playing T20 cricket. I know for England it doesn't really matter. They play all the big sides consistently all the time. Um, Ireland don't too much. Neither do Scotland, Netherlands, or Italy. And this experience will definitely help them in the tournaments going forward. I mean, we've just seen in the T20 World Cup that's just gone, Zimbabwe having an incredible tournament, reaching that Super 8s ahead of Australia. And the, in the past, recent past, we've seen them have matches against these bigger sides, which has definitely helped the experience of their players. I mean, facing some of the best bowlers uh, for the batsmen and bowling against some of the best batsmen for the bowlers definitely helps going into a World Cup. And now that we're seeing more nations take part in the World Cup, this will definitely play a huge part. I think if this series does happen, I mean, if we do look back at the way Zimbabwe made it to Super 8, they had a tri series beforehand with Sri Lanka and Pakistan. They had a series against Afghanistan, and I know it's not T20 cricket, but they had a test series against South Africa, New Zealand, and England. And yes, that definitely plays a massive part. If these players are getting more experience for these smaller sides, these smaller sides are going to grow. And that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see more teams in cricket. We want the sport to grow. At the moment, there's only the big nations are England, India, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, West Indies. Yes, they're big, but they've fallen off a little bit. Sri Lanka as well. Pakistan haven't been as good recently. So we want to see more teams and we want the sport to grow. So this is huge news. If this series does go ahead, I mean, I don't know how what the format's going to be like. Whether it's just going to be a league format, who knows? But this is definitely exciting stuff to happen if it goes ahead for 2027. And I can definitely see smaller teams across Europe, if they are involved in the tournament, doing much better and giving the bigger teams a hard time in T20 World Cups and maybe ODI World Cups to come if they end up qualifying and things like that. And eventually, this could play a massive role in Test cricket as well. If we see more sides get involved in Test cricket, like we've seen Zimbabwe doing, having smaller series against um, South Africa, New Zealand, England. I mean, the way the World Test Championship is set up, we may have to go into a division format, which people have been over social media have been talking about to make it a bit more interesting. Teams going down, teams going up. Again, no one knows what's going to happen for the future of Test cricket, how the ICC are going to handle it, and what they really want for the future of Test cricket or cricket in general. I mean, they're the only people that can answer that question. But if we do see more of these sides playing Test cricket in other formats, this could be a huge thing for the future to come. Yes, it may take 4 or 5 years, maybe a bit longer, for this to happen. Who knows? But definitely very exciting stuff. Um, but yeah, that draws an end to episode 1 of the podcast. I hope you all enjoyed. Please follow me on YouTube, TikTok, um, subscribe on YouTube, hit the follow on Spotify, whichever platform you're using, and yeah, look forward to giving you more insight into cricket. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.